And hello, welcome to another episode of Sisterhood Sips. And I am Lily Washington of YB Limited. I'm a model, actor, and podcaster. I do another show with this lovely young lady on the block with Jen. And you can catch me on Vogue, Allure, and a slew of other things, commercials, and all that other fun stuff. But we're not here to give my resume. Who are you, beautiful?
Hola, I am Jen Garcia. I do On the Block with Jen. I am a podcaster 6 nights a week, and we do this show too, Sisterhood Sips. I am an actress, a comedic writer, and your favorite devil's advocate. You can catch me on Tubi, The Bag Girls 2. I play a Colombian drug lord. Go see if I get killed or not. And you can catch me on Amazon and Stars in the movie White People Money, which is family friendly and a comedy. Go see if I get naked in that one. Go check it out. And here with my lovely co-host, Lily.
Yes.
What are we doing today, Lily?
Well, we're going to discuss midlife crisis.
Cringe. I don't call it that.
What do you call it?
I don't call
Is
it
it
that.
a myth?
I think it's a myth. Okay, here's the thing. Now, it's not a myth that you feel a certain way at a certain age, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think it's just you making up for being held down by either tradition, your job, religion, or a spouse that you settled for.
Ooh.
So I don't think it's a crisis. I really do think it's you going back into who you really want to be and who you really are. And that shouldn't be called a crisis. But I will pass the mic. I have more to say.
Oh, I don't think it should be called a crisis either because I don't even believe in it either.
Oh.
We've actually never discussed this, so this will be our first time discussing this.
Okay.
I have something controversial I'm going to say about this topic.
Yes.
Okay, we love controversy. All right, this is my take on this. I don't look at it as a midlife crisis. I look at it as nature plays a really cruel joke on us humans. Yeah, all right? I think... Y'all about to get pissed about what I'm about to say. I think at some point, men become women and women become men.
What?
Yes, and I'm gonna clear that up.
Are we waving the rainbow flag on this?
We can any flag you find, okay? Because I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. Hormonally. Right? Hormonally we change, right? Like growing up, like typically women have more estrogen, men have more testosterone. That plays a part in how you move, plays a part in how you think. But as you get to a certain age with, whether it's menopause or just age, those things kind of change, right? The estrogen falls, the testosterone falls, but the other thing rises up, okay? And if you notice, women of a particular age, we get smart. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that. I don't think, and some people like to say once we get smart and catch on to everything that we're having a midlife crisis. I just think that we caught on to how things really are as opposed to the things that we bought into. So it's kind of like what you were saying, but I'm adding in hormonal changes too, also changes the way we think and move.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought up the science behind it because it is a scientific fact. It's not just rumor. I had one of my great male friends tell me he had recently read that as men get older, they get more feminine. Now, that doesn't mean they run around in heels with nail polish, but they do. Their testosterone drops, so they become more empathetic, right?
Yes.
Where women, we become more rigid. So you're absolutely right. It's like nature's cruel joke where we kind of, we kind of flip how we look at things. So women get more cynical, like, oh, stop the tears, cut it out. And men get more like, no, maybe that's not what really happened. And it's a very interesting dynamic. And now that I'm an older woman, I'm starting to see that where my male friends that are in my age bracket are a lot softer than I remember, right? And I'm like, oh man, get out of here. And I'm like, oh my, so it is scientific. It's not just, it's not just a rumor. It's not a myth. Regarding midlife crisis, I think that people get bolder as they age and less confined by things that made them settle. So I really do think that people are just going back into really who they are and coming into their own. So it's not like, oh, this is how I've always been, and now I want to get a Corvette and drive off a cliff because I feel different. No, you are actually going back to innately who you are. Human beings are adventurous. Human beings are curious. Human beings are conquerors, right? By nature. However, I say it again, religion, tradition, society will break you down and put you in a box. And then you live that box and you forget that you are a spirit that's adventurous and wants to, risk things, right? So when you get older, you get less apologetic and you literally go back to your nature. So when you're bungee jumping and racing the Corvette and fucking 3 women at the same time, that's really your nature, sorry to say. And that's why divorce happens, because the spouse can't, ride that wave with that other person. It's not gender specific. If a woman comes into her own during her midlife crisis, her husband is going to be spooked. He was like, what is this? I want you as before. Women file for divorce 80% of the time. So I think women are more, they have more conviction about a quote unquote midlife crisis and going back to innately who they are, where men get more nervous about it. And they're like, hey, I don't like change. I just wanted to cheat on you, but I wanted to come back to comfort. So it's really somebody going back to their nature. Human beings naturally are adventurous.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was another thing I was going to bring up. And on the topic of relationships and the quote unquote midlife crisis, another thing that I notice is because with us, when like girls are younger, you got the Disney stuff, and they're always promoting the prince and the knight in shining armor and the wedding and the white dress, and a lot of girls really look up to that. Like they put so much, like media puts so much emphasis on the wedding and the white dress and the ring and the attention that you get from those things, right? And it also makes especially women feel like we don't measure up if we're not in a relationship. Hence why for many, 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 many years, there's 2 insults, I guess that's what they call them because they're not creative, that these men try to use against us. Oh, you're single, you're not married, right? Or they call us a 304, right? But guess what? It's not working today in 2023. These young girls, these modern women, they don't care about those insults, because guess what? They're not looking to be your wife. They're not looking to have your child and all that other stuff, right? So what I notice is at some point, the men start feeling that pressure of being in a relationship, like I would say after 40 and 50, and the women lose that pressure. We no longer have that pressure. We no longer buy into the fact that we're not shit if we don't have a man. No, I'm the shit with or without a man. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like that's where that whole "you're gonna die alone" comes from, because they're really talking to themselves. That's their own fear that they're trying to put onto us, because now that their biological clock is ticking in a different way.
And just to be fair, I want to call out some ladies. In their defense, we are reared and conditioned and raised to be the little princess waiting on the white knight. So women put a lot of emphasis on being a Mrs. If you've ever seen a woman that's married, you call her Miss by mistake, she will correct you with vitriol. It's Mrs. It's Mrs. Smith, right? They put a lot of emphasis. That's a badge of honor. A man wanted me forever. But if we look at the statistics, 80% of women file first. That means, according to, what's his name? Is it Jordan Peterson? He said the reason why women file first is, and I can't believe I'm quoting this man, but it made sense. He said the reason why women file first is because they are first to feel unhappy and first to do something about it. Where men will settle into their misery, they beat off to some porn, they may mess around with the secretary, but they're not going to leave the marriage. Why? Because men get the short end of the stick in a divorce. So they're trying to lock it down and stay in, and they count down the days. I got 10 more years till my kid is 18, and then I can get rid of her. Women, the child could be 5 years old, and she's like, I'm done with you. I'm gone. It's over. I want to go party with my girls. I want to be a city girl. I want to party in Miami. Women will bounce. But I want to go back to what you said, that men weaponize women being single. Women also weaponize it against other women. I've seen it online a lot. You ain't even married. You single. I'm Mrs. Like, they really wear it like a badge of honor. And I'm like, honey, are you happy?
That's always my next question.
Are you happy? Has he cheated yet? Are you happy? Cleaning his dirty drawers. Are you happy?
I love when I think about it was something you said on the other show on the Block with Jen, and you posed a question to everyone on the panel and in the audience, and I'm going to take it to a stadium. Okay, I'm going to take this same question. I'm going to pose it into a stadium full of people. And Jen, get on the mic at the stadium. We're going to get on the mic together. Sisterhood Sips. We're at the ball game, and we're on the mic, and we're going to ask a question. The question is, all right, guys, let's play a little game. How many of you have either cheated or have been cheated on?
Ooh.
Raise your hand.
A resounding roar erupts in the stadium.
And people still want to argue that monogamy is natural. Yeah. We wouldn't have a stadium full of people raising their hands to that if it was. So, yeah, those things are not natural. And I feel like with age, we start to get to a place where we start to question things and like, wow, why did I do that? So, yeah, it's so many different layers that come with that psychology-wise, it'll take a lot to break down. But like, I don't believe in the typical midlife crisis for that particular reason.
And let's elaborate on it's not natural, because a lot of people fight that. Monogamy is natural.
It's a choice.
And no, it's a choice. Monogamy is a choice. Not only that, this is how simple it is to realize it's not natural. When you see someone else that's very attractive, personable, appealing, you want to spend time with that person. You want to get to know that person. You have to fight yourself to not want that or do that because you have somebody back home. That is literally you fighting what innately your body and your mind was telling you. Your body and your mind is telling you, this person is attractive, they're funny, I want to hang out with them, I want to do lunch with them, shit, I want to fuck them, I wonder what that mouth do, right? But what you do is you stop yourself and you suppress that feeling because you don't want to hurt the person back home. That's how you know what you're doing is unnatural. Because if you were single, what would you do? You would go with the flow of that feeling. But when you're in a relationship, you have to suppress that feeling because it's like, fuck, you really have to fight the desire to spend time with that person. Therein lies, it's not natural. So it is a choice to be monogamous. Can you be monogamous? Yes, but it is a fight daily. So whenever you meet somebody that's attractive, it's a fight to like, nope, I'm in a relationship. Nope, I got married. Hence the 7-year itch. And 7 years usually happens, right? Now, I don't know if it's 5 years for some people, 6, it's getting shorter and shorter.
Yes, it is.
Okay, but the 7-year itch comes from after 7 years, okay, I need to scratch this itch. She's attractive, he's attractive, I'm pretty, this marriage is dull. I want to see something else. I want to be with somebody else. I want that excitement for the first 3 months. So is monogamy possible? Yeah, but rarely. That's all I want to say. It's rare. It's rarely.
Right. That's the issue. And people like to fight on that because I posted about this and people were trying to make it make sense when the evidence has shown us over the years. And I believe the divorce rate is actually increasing, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, people are choosing not to marry as much as they used to.
Oh. Yeah, and that's another thing. When I look at modern men, modern women, especially the modern woman, like that's the one thing. They're not even with the birth rate is down, the marriage rate is down, and all of those, particular things. So that's not a midlife crisis. Like I think that is this newer generation looking at experiences from generations before them and say, hold on, wait. When you do the math, when you look at the pattern, something's broken. Something's hasn't been working for my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother. And so now you want me to sign up for this. But I'm looking, and yeah, she may have the ring, but I know how she is at home and she's not happy. Or they may be married, they might have been married for 20 years, but they're both cheating on each other. So you want me to sign up for these things, but when I look around, I'm just talking about any random young person of today, they may look around and just be like, this shit ain't working out for y'all, and you want me to sign it? No, I won't be doing that. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do as a modern woman, I'm going to go to school, or I'm going to start my business. I'm going to get my ends up. Because I'm seeing all this gender war stuff and these men don't want to help pay for nothing or they just, so I'm not going to depend on that. I'm going to depend on me. And then if I become lucky in love, so be it. That's a bonus, and that's icing on the cake.
And I think if you're still crazy enough to want to marry, you should do it at an older age, right? I understand women's biological clock ticks and it's like they have to have a baby at a certain age, but really for the longevity of your happiness, you should wait. I advise young people to wait, explore, have your quote unquote midlife crisis all through your 20s. I would say even into your 30s. You know why? Because you're going to get married, you're going to settle down, you're going to be pressured by society or religion or your mama. I want some grandkids. You're going to be pressured by everybody. You're going to do something because everything else was telling you to do it, but your spirit wasn't telling you to do it. So you did it, and guess what? It's going to explode later on anyway, during the midlife crisis or you cheating on your spouse. So do it later on. Don't have children. We love our babies, but children are a burden to your life, okay? Right. Unless you're filthy rich and you're Kardashian, you have 5 nannies on tap, it is a burden, though we love our children, okay? Marriage is a burden, though we love our spouse, right? It's a whole different life. It really is like being in a soul cell. I call it a soul cell because what your soul really wants to do is now in a cell, and you have to wait. Hence the midlife crisis at 45. No, you're just going back to what you always wanted to do. It's not a crisis. It's you going back to who you really are. And people think that when we say things like this, oh, you're just bitter. It's like, I'm far from bitter. This is the most ecstatic I've been on my life. Look at me.
Feeling good.
You know what I'm saying?
Looking good.
I'm good, but I learned from my mistakes and also looking at other people. And forget me. Like you said, look at the tangible evidence. Look at the divorce rate. Look at who files first, especially for the men. Like, you guys get the short end of the stick over and over and over again, yet you weaponize marriage, right? You get the short end of the stick, sir. I get divorced. I get half. I get alimony. I get child support. So it's weird to me that these men are like making fun of women who are single and not married. You get the short end of the stick, sir. So, if there's anybody to be made fun of, it's y'all.
Right. Another thing I wanted to bring up too, this is a conversation I've been seeing going around online with a lot of gentlemen.
Are you using the word gentleman loosely?
For these particular men I'm about to talk about. Yeah. This is very loosely. Okay. A lot of them, they've been having this conversation saying that mature women are competing with the younger women. I'm like,
ew.
Why? Like, first of all, I'm going to speak on my behalf, and I know how you operate as well. We live for the younger girls. Like, we always want to see them live their best life. And really, a lot of that is the inspiration behind why we did this show.
Absolutely.
To be a voice to them, for them, and as well as women of our age group, because we have been through things and stuff like that. And most importantly, we're not bitter. We love men. We love love. We love life. And so I feel we are qualified to have these conversations because it's coming from a place of, that's why we can laugh and joke and stuff like that, whether you're triggered or not, because everything's not a gender war. But, to people who haven't healed, everything's a gender war. But, I feel like I don't understand where that comes from. I really don't.
I think it's really disgusting. It goes back to what I said on the other show. When the hate don't work, they start telling lies, okay? They're the ones making this thing up, men specifically, who are trying to have women warring with each other. When they can't war with each other, when they can't war with us, they have women warring with other women, right? And the pick me does exist, right? And she wants to be accepted by men, right? So she'll agree with whatever. And those older women are competing. I would never. It's the most disgusting concept. I love tutoring and teaching younger women. I tell them the pitfalls that are coming, right? I could never compete with someone half my age. Why? Because in my age bracket, there's plenty of men, honey. There's plenty men. When you look good and you take care of yourself and you have options, right? You don't worry about, oh my God, they're coming to take my spot. And if you quote unquote take my spot, it wasn't mine, but I have 10 others. That's why you should have options, ladies and gentlemen. So you're not so hell bent on causing chaos, right? Because you're too busy with your own options, but not never. Stop letting these men, I'm talking to young women and older women, stop letting men throw dirt on femininity and on women. And women can get along, okay? Women do look look out for each other, and older women do look out for younger women because we have to. So if there's a beautiful 25-year-old that walks in the room, now guess what? There's a beautiful 25-year-old and a beautiful 50-year-old in the room. And that's how it works. We have two different demographics. But I think it's horrible that that's going on social media now, because it's absolutely disgusting. We are not each other's competition. We have two different dating pools. And even if we are in the same dating pool and it's like some 60-year-old man wants to date you, well, have fun, and I hope he has lots of Viagra. I don't know what you want me to say.
Right, because there's nothing I can do for that.
Right.
Like, I'm not getting upset with somebody who don't want me or not interested in me. Like, like you said, I have plenty of options.
And young options too.
Oh,
I'm no
sometimes too
cougar.
young.
I'm no cougar, but I have a lot of young men that are trying to date or smash or whatever word you want to use. Either ways, at the end of the day, men that are a lot younger than me are attracted to me. So I'm not competing with anybody. I love the change of the guard. I love being the elder. I love being the wise one. I love looking out for my younger sisters. It's important someone has to do it, especially in today's environment when everybody's telling them, just hoe out, hoes win. Like, they need that voice, right? That voice of reason. And they may take the advice and they may not, but I'm still here for it. So no, there's no competition. Stop letting people do that, please.
Yeah, definitely no competition. And it's definitely an honor to even be in this position, to not even look like what we've been through. Because that's another part of it as well. Like, I'm like you in the sense that I like to just share my experiences with them and let them decide what they may, because the last thing I ever want to do is come off as judgmental and things like that, because I understand, like, she may not listen today.
Oh, absolutely.
Chances are she's not going to listen today. It is what it was, because I wasn't going to listen that day that they told me either, right? But it was that seed that was being planted. So yeah, ladies, like, please, whatever you do, just understand we definitely need each other. Like, that's one of the biggest things. It's always a divide and conquer situation, especially right now, because a lot of these men are unraveling with the new paradigm and this new age and stuff like that. So yeah, they're using just about any tactic, and we're speaking to a certain demographic of man, the ones who get triggered when we talk about this. That guy, the one who's not triggered, we're not talking to him, because he's either like, yeah, you're telling the truth, or I don't agree.
What do you think, Lily? What do you think when someone is, quote unquote, in that midlife crisis phase? And I'm using that term because it's most familiar. But how do you think someone should handle when they're at a point either in their marriage or their career or raising children? They're like, fuck, I'm 45. I didn't do much with my life. What happens now? How do you think someone should go into that? Because a lot of people just suffer with it and don't venture out. They just suffer.
Ooh, you are talking to the right person. As somebody who was trying to do everything that I thought society wanted me to do, and it's well documented what happened, and it almost killed me, right? And so, yes, it can literally kill you. So I recommend a lot of soul searching and writing. Writing is super important, and getting gut level honest with yourself about yourself, not anyone else. Not what mommy and daddy did to you and all that stuff, like just about yourself, and a lot of writing and things like that. And then I would say, like, slowly start to implement just new things, adding little new things in daily. Something small. I'm not talking about go bungee diving on, jumping or whatever on Monday and then go scuba diving on Tuesday. I mean, you could do that if you like, but I'm just saying keeping it realistic and things like that, because I feel like it can also get inauthentic as well when people go too quick, too fast. It's just like there's no direction. But even when that usually happens, it's just like a cry. I wouldn't say a cry for help, but just get me up out of all of this. I didn't sign up for this. I just accepted all of these things. And so they just kind of rebel like a teenager. But I feel like that's also normal too, because for me, that happened in my late 20s. I was 29 going to 30. So that wasn't a midlife crisis. It was just that particular age. I finally said enough is enough. I want to live my life and not the life that I was told I was supposed to live.
I know it sounds cliche, but my advice, I'm a little more, I'm a little more extreme. So I'm like, rip the Band-Aid off, go bungee jumping, go fuck that guy, go fuck that. Do it. Life is short, right? Life is really, really short, but it's beautiful if you live it on your terms, right? I would advise do it, go for it, because you will regret. You're going to regret the things that you didn't do more than likely than things that you did at the end of it all. You really, really are. So I'm like, go for it, do it. People are going to get hurt along the way. Your girlfriend, your wife, your husband will get hurt. People don't like change. When you woke up every morning and it was eggs and watching the news and going to work and coming home and maybe getting a little downstroke and going to sleep and doing it the same day, the next day the same way over and over and over again for 30, 40 years. And that person wakes up the next day and is like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do it with you. People will get hurt along the way. However, that is life. You cannot prevent pain. You cannot prevent pain. And too many people are living a life of resentment and settling because they're trying to prevent pain, theirs and someone else's. You cannot prevent pain. So it's more painful to be in your deathbed and be like, I wish I woulda, shoulda, coulda. So just do it. Like Nike, just fucking do it or you'll regret it.
Oh, yeah. I always think about that. Because people like to say that I'm fearless. Mm-hmm. I'm really not. Mm-hmm. I say do it scared. Because a lot of times people are waiting for the fear to dissolve before they do it. Nope. Do it shaking and trembling. Just do it. Because what helps me to do that is whenever I get to that place where I feel like the fear is about to paralyze me, I always say to myself, okay, I don't want to be 90 or 100 on my deathbed and thinking about, what would have happened if I would have done whatever, if I would have moved to that place, if I would have tried that business. To me, that would have been worse than trying that business and it not working out. Because one of the things I've learned along the way, the only way I can fail is if I don't try. That's it. There's no such thing as failure unless I don't try. Because if I try, it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out in the way that I wanted it to work out. But I'm walking away with a lesson. I learned something new that I can take with me, and I got it out of my system. I won't be on my deathbed at 100 years old thinking about what it could have, should have. Nope, I did it. Tried it.
And what's the problem? Most humans, they don't realize that life is ups and downs, ebbs and flows, passes, failures, success, failure, falling down, standing up. It's so many different things. People think that a successful life is, okay, I went to school, I got married, got the 401k ready, and if I make it with this one person until my death, then that's success. And that's why they take quote unquote failure so badly. But that's a part of life. Failing is a part of life. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. And that's what we spoke in the other episode about letting friends go. People think that a failed friendship is a friendship that ends after 20, 25 years. No, that's a successful friendship. Yeah. It's just, it was time for you to depart. Same thing with marriage. Oh, we failed at marriage. No, you got married. You stayed married. Now you grew separate ways. That's still a successful marriage. You got married. You stayed married. But sometimes people grow apart, right? So going back to this midlife crisis thing, I don't think it exists. I just think you're going back into your natural self without the confines of religion, tradition, society, your parents, and what have you. I think you should live out loud. It is your life at the end of the day. You came to this planet alone, unless you're a twin, and you're going to go out alone.
And I will add to that to say that there are two people in this world who are the most free, in my opinion. That's children before stupid adults get to them, mm-hmm. and usually elders or an adult that has gone through a midlife crisis, meaning, in my opinion, they woke up and said, what the hell am I doing? I'm going to take control of my life and do it a different way. Those people are very free. And it happens at different ages. It can happen to some people in their 20s, mm-hmm. right? Some people are fast at it, and then it can happen to some people much later. But the quicker it happens, the quicker you can actually start living a real life for you and not for everybody else. Because the other thing I had to ask myself was, why am I choosing to be uncomfortable so that everyone else can be comfortable? Nah. What we gonna do, if we gonna be uncomfortable, we all gonna be uncomfortable around here.
Right, absolutely. And again, you can't prevent pain. One of the greatest lessons I've had in life, a lot of us have lost our grandparents. And I was with my grandmother, at the hospice. And it makes you think about so much. And I started thinking about her life and what she achieved and what she didn't and what she wanted. And it's just very sad because you think about a person who, in your mind, could have lived more. Right? Could have had more, could have ventured out more. And once it's done, it's done. Once it's over, it's over. And that was a great lesson for me where I was like, oh, I'm going to live out loud for my grandma. So I don't care that it looks weird to you. I don't care that I don't have a ring on my finger and it makes you uncomfortable. Because if I'm comfortable with it, I don't know why you feel uncomfortable with it. But it was a great lesson. You have to live for yourself. Everybody else will fall in line. And whoever doesn't fall in line has to go.
It's just that simple. And that's it. Oh, my God. These episodes go too fast for me.
They really do.
They always leave me
If you guys want more, make sure you leave a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Share, guys. That is how we get the word out. And we are even thinking of touring, but we can't do that without you guys sharing. So who knows? We may be in a city near you. If you share and we get more popular, we can start traveling. We could come to your girls groups, your jails, overseas and entertain the military. I wear a bikini. You wear a bikini?
I love a man in a uniform, girl.
Are we going to wear a bikini for the servicemen?
I will wear anything for him or nothing if that's what he wants.
Hoorah, baby. Hoorah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Subscribe and like one day at a time.
One sip at a time.
Hey.